Hi lovely people, it's Candy here on a kind of busy Tuesday. The first day the kids have gone back to school after lockdown. My dogs are messing around behind me and I've just come in from the garden and I'm chasing my tail to get something done before school pick up again. So I thought I'd do a walk through. I want to sit down, I want to catch my breath. Much needed. How lovely to sit and flick through a deck with you guys. What I'm going to do, I'm going to light some incense. Just going to grab half an hour to show you a deck. Now before I start, you are going to have to forgive the state of my hands and my slapped off nails and my chipped nail polish. We are in gardening season now, so yeah, the hands get wrecked. It's a trade-off for hours in the garden every day or nice hands and nice manicures. So my manicures have kind of disappeared and my hands are wrecked. They're all scratched from moving bricks and doing the roses. So you're going to have to forgive that, guys. I wanted to show you this deck. So the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar. It is a deck that's published by Eddison Books Limited. This is the box. It's a pull-out box. It comes with its own book. It's a lovely book. You've got an illustration of the card. You've got the meaning. You've got a high note, a low note, you've got keywords, you've got a description of the card, you've got a link to a chakra as well for each card. It's a really nice deck that links chakras. You've got a little bit about Wicca and paganism at the start. You've got a little bit of the history of witch persecution and witchcraft today. You've got a bit about the Wheel of the Year and tea and the Sabbats. So it really is a witchcraft oracle. At the back of the book, you've got some spreads. So you've got some nice spreads actually. I've not tried any of them yet, but I definitely want to. So a feminine triangle and a masculine triangle spread, relationship potential spread, an ascension chakra spread, a star spread. So that connects you with planetary powers and paths of destiny. So each position links to a planet, which is great. So that it's a really nice little book. Now I've got the cards in this beautiful bag that was sent to me by lovely Jen. Okay, so you can see the card stock. It's quite shiny. It's flexible though. The card stock is really flexible, but it is shiny cardstock. Compare it to a standard tarot card. You can see they're a little bit bigger, but not as huge as normal oracle size. So that's the size of the cards. So it's a 42 card deck. They have a keyword on the front and a number and just a small white border, which I think is lovely. So I'm going to flick you through the images now so you can see. It's a very earthy feeling deck, just like what you would expect from a pagan witchcraft deck that has references to the elements and the Wheel of the Year. The familiar is a wolf. We've got the green man for growth. And what I found working with this deck is that it does pair beautifully with lots of other decks. It's one that I've used quite a bit over the last month. It was one that I got right at the end of last year. I mean, look at it, it's absolutely beautiful. So it's very earthy, it's quite green. These are the type of decks I'm feeling really pulled to at the moment. It's paired nicely. I've used it with the Mary L. I've also used it with the Tower of the Spirit so far this year. Both decks it's worked really nicely with. The black cat. So you can see there's lots of references to witchcraft and witch tools and sacred circles, cauldrons and wands, and the moon features in it. You've got nature. Isn't that beautiful card? Absolutely gorgeous. Again, like I said, it's a really good deck for doing chakra work. Each card, like you saw in the booklet, is linked to a chakra. Of course, you've got the raven in there and a spiral, which is really, it speaks to me a lot. You've got the fae, spells, horned god. So energy in the cone of power. I love it. Got the elements on there. Crystal balls and owls of wisdom and magic woodlands. Swan, a swan for the goddess. Look at that goddess card. Isn't that gorgeous? Holy water, dragons and swords, wizards and unicorns. Now, this was a card that really came into play when I was having the energy healing session with Manuela. I'd pulled a card within the session which I hadn't shown Manuela, but when she went down to the underworld to check for contracts down there linked to me, she came back up with a gift of a white horse, and I'd pulled this card with like a white unicorn on, which really it just spoke to me ever such a lot, especially with links to the Morrigan and horses. So you've got the owl as the wisdom keeper, or an owled goddess, the book of shadows, and a gorgeous crone card, which unsurprisingly keeps coming out for me. So that's it. It is a beautiful deck. If you have any sort of witchcraft practice, if you are interested in a pagan practice at all, then this deck is a really gorgeous one. Like I say, it's one that I just have loved. Oh, let's see that one. So if we pull a card, so we pulled the Cone of Power, which is energy, which is number 34. And if we go to the book and see what card 34 says, you'll see how it works. The Cone of Power is a term used to signify building up a force of conscious energy and then sending it to something requiring attention. So this could be a healing cone or a protective cone, a creative cone, in fact any form of energy. The dunce's hat, for example, was intended to energize the mind. The witch's hat also takes its shape from the cone. How fascinating! Its vibration, it is linked to the solar plexus chakra. Keywords are energy, focus and concentration. The meaning says, the Cone of Power signifies that you have energy at your disposal and that this can be utilised for the highest good. Focus upon your intentions, feed any creative flames with positive affirmations, and consider what you may like to give to others to help them on their path. Opportunity is available for fresh energy to illuminate an old or tired situation. Your energy will be required, so expect a call. If things have become too serious or intense, find places and situations that will feed and nourish you. Let others lead sometimes so that you can rest. Look also at the possibility that you are taking from life without giving back. Be mindful. So you can see it's not a pat on the back affirmations deck. It pulls some punches on you, which I love. And its high note, energy is focused and activated. Its low note is be appropriate with your energy. So you can see that is quite a meaty reading. It's not a sweet feel better affirmation deck. It is definitely a deck to call you into action, to get you being honest with yourself. And I think it's a deck that could really work nicely for spell work, or for setting intentions, for self-love work, for altar work, work at the altar. It could be a deck that you could use around the Sabbats, and use it with the Wheel of the Year throughout the year. It is a deck that I think if you are on any sort of pagan or witchcraft journey, it's a nice one to have in your collection. I really do think it is. And like I say, it is one that does pair really nicely with other decks. So that's it, guys. That is the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar. It is a 42 card deck linked to chakra work, so if you're doing chakra work as well, brilliant. Any sort of energy work has already come into play without me even realizing it was an energy work chakra healing deck. It came into play in a chakra energy session with Manuela. I just got pulled to this deck, and at that point I didn't even realize it was linked to the chakras. I think it is a deck that has a lot to say. I hope you've enjoyed looking at it. Let me know if you've got this deck, and if you've got it, do you pair it with other decks? Do you love it? What do you use it for? How does it come into play in your tarot practice or in your witchcraft practice? And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.